and I don't want to curse. I'm trying to compose myself, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking effing news. This comes the way of Xbox, the official post. Folks, Gears of War Reloaded has just been announced. The trilogy that we've been asking for has just been dropped onto the socials with no fanfare. The original Gears of War returns with Gears of War Reloaded, and it drops August 26th on Xbox Game Pass. And check this out. I think it's an exclusive. Oh my God, this is on XboxWire.com. I am. Oh, okay, so it is a multi-plat. Okay.
Halo, Gears, and Forza. Halo, Gears, and Forza.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to another Xvault gaming video. Xvault here, and today we're going to go over your next dose of the Salty Batch files. That's right. It's a big one this time, of course. The next one on the Holy Trinity of games to denounce those pillars has been announced all nonchalantly, and all hell has broken loose, so to speak. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump to it. Alright, so like I said, what we're going to do is get right to the salt, of course, but let me start off by saying, if I told you so, and I'm stating facts, and that this, that, and the other is going to happen, no red line, the whole slate, the conjunction and how it was going to happen, starting with Forza, then following Gears, and then to follow, we will, in fact, more than likely get Halo down the line here, probably not too far off as well. But that being said, let's get right to it. That's why I have my tongue sticking out in the thumbnail, because it's like, I told you so. All you got to do is listen. I'm just being honest. But here we go. Let's start off with how Warhammer Dave, a tried and true good soldier for the Xbox community, and let's see how he's feeling right now. As you can see here, Xbox is so pathetic and desperate, put them out of their hardware business with the D-blow Sony. He's hurting. He's hurting really bad, and again, I have empathy for a lot of these tried and true Xbox soldiers that at least came to the realization much sooner than the others. The frauds, the shills, the grifters, all that stuff. So I can empathize with that. I would also feel upset and betrayed. And those that don't think that this is a thing or shouldn't feel upset and games are best everywhere, again, go look at my previous video explaining essentially why exclusives matter, explaining in-depth analysis of why they matter and the good consensus behind that. Ecosystems matter, exclusives matter, competition matters. These things matter, so to be like, well, everybody gets to play, it's not that simple, it's not that black and white. It matters, and if you invested your time and effort and money into an ecosystem that seemingly said, we lost, and here we go. I know, I've been there. I decided to go all in with the Sega Dreamcast, still loved that system, thought it was great, and we didn't have social media like we have today to kind of show that's what was going on. I had an idea, but I'm like, nah, they'll be fine, Dreamcast is doing fine, they'll be fine. That was not the case. But again, Dave, I feel for you. But yeah, you know, I don't think they need Sony to do this. They're doing it to themselves, but let's keep going. We have a lot of examples, and let's start with the next one. So the next one is an older receipt, but you got to bring these up because they're so good. They're great receipts, and here we have Joseph Cruz, a.k.a. Andrea Piccinini, a.k.a. rebranded Ascension, all that stuff here, the catfish, right? Is already an old game when he's talking to this passive profit in regards to a previous exclusive for Microsoft and Xbox. Everybody who wanted to play it already played it, a bunch of laughing emojis. Aren't you one of those who said all Xbox games, Starfield, Forza, Halo, Gears, coming to PS5? Where are those on PS5 today? Now again, you can take the context of today. It doesn't matter if it was today, because it's going to be happening, and sooner than later, eventually, much like we're getting Gears of War right now, and yes, it's a remaster of a game that's been out since the 360 and hasn't touched PlayStation's presence until, here coming this August 26th, right? We're looking at the fact that Gears of War E-Day more than likely is going to be a day and date thing. It's looking more and more likely that worst case scenario, it's a 3-month outing, kind of like what Indiana Jones was for the Xbox and then coming to PlayStation. All this is happening in real time. It's a domino effect. We told you so. This was going to happen. It's the whole slate. Phil tried to tell you so. At first, obviously, he wasn't being truthful with y'all. He's a used car salesman. We've been over that as well. And he did his tricks of the words and tried to keep everything at bay. At this point in time, I feel like he should just rip off the Band-Aid, announce what's coming on the roadmap, and just call it good. The damage is already done for that brand right now in regards to how they're viewed as far as a multi-plat company, and there are no exclusives going forward, or they're timed, or whatever the case is. Put it out there. Just put it out there. But you love to see old receipts like this. You can only tell that they're fuming. Their goalpost moving, just like all of them are, and we'll have to get to that in future videos as well, because I got a ton of content and receipts from these. But let's get to the next one as well. We got Marius here, of course, gets made fun of, takes L's daily, gets his account apparently suspended daily and restricted because he's an idiot. And here he has, this is a one from just a year ago, right? I don't see Starfield, Halo, Gears, Forza, Horizon on PS5, but I see all PS games on my Windows PC. Again, I don't see those PlayStation first-party games on Xbox. That's the difference here. This is what we're talking about, is consoles and first-party AAA games. Not seeing the difference here, but here we have, again, these age so poorly, as if you can't see this happening from a year ago. I could see it. This is what I've been saying. I said, more than likely, these rumors, grain of salt, but more than likely this is happening down the line. I said, and if any one of these Holy Trinity games, such as Forza, Gears, or Halo, and I did predict that it would be Forza first, then Gears, and then Halo, in that order, was going to drop. And once any of those games did drop, in fact, though, that dam started to crack and the floodgates are open and all bets are off, right? It's just simple as that. But you gotta love the egg on their face. They're punching air, you know, that's what they live for. They live to grift and to try to get a W in some way, shape, or form. But there you have it, in case you wanted to laugh at that one. Now, how is the goalpost moving? Again, this is now a recent one here. It's Gaming Profit NYC, who doesn't play his own games, doesn't play Xbox games, and puts like 5 minutes into them and moves on. But here he's touting the good horn, stating Microsoft is carrying the whole gaming industry, but hey, let's ignore that. So what do we say to this, guys? This goalpost moving, this is the new narrative now, and MLD is right on board with this stuff. They adapt, and this is the way it is. What we're looking at here is a big clap of the hands, folks. A big clap of the hands. Why? Congratulations. So a third-party publisher, a full slate, full third-party publisher is now carrying the industry. So much akin, again, to Ubisoft, to Square Enix, to EA, to all of these major third-party publishers. Congratulations. If that's the direction you now want to cheer on and choose and say they're holding up the gaming industry, then again, congratulations, because that's what you do as a third-party publisher. Is you sit there and give your games everywhere and you make money. Congratulations. You're now cheerleading into a corporate bootlicking, something that all these PC grifters and elitists and all these Xbox grifters and elitists and shills tried to state that that's all PlayStation people were doing. PlayStation fans were doing is corporate bootlicking, and this is corporate bootlicking 101, but again, no one says anything. It's always against the PlayStation fans, only because we've been truthful and said, look, and yes, there's a little bit of trolling in there, obviously. That's how the console war things work. You don't take it too far, you poke and prod and haha, this and that. I do miss the days of the old, where you didn't know what you're going to get. That both companies or all companies come out swinging out of the gates, and the consumer wins in the end. At this point, it's just sad, pathetic, and embarrassing. What are they doing? They're clinging on to threads at this point. But again, congratulations for Microsoft being that third-party publisher. I mean, what a W that is, I guess. I mean, congratulations. Not a congratulations to the consumers, though, because, again, competition breeds success. I've said it before in the past multiple times. I'm saying it again. Competition breeds success. This is not the way. Congratulations to some of the consumers that do get to get that, including myself, because I've stayed on PlayStation. That's where I primarily game. So I guess congrats. But in the end, less competition isn't good in the long run. But what do? What we do is we keep moving on here. Let's see how Destin Legary's doing. How's he spinning things here? Well, he's finally coming to terms a little bit more. We'll see if he spins in the future here. But as you can see, Gears of War tweet from PlayStation. It's done, y'all. Halo next. And this is with the context. And even PlayStation posted this out. Wild times, right? Rev up your Lancers. Gears of War Reloaded comes to PS5 on August 26, remastered from the ground up. Now, real quick, what are some caveats for the Xbox side of things, right? This is on Game Pass Day 1 still. It's also a free upgrade if you purchase this remaster in the past. But for PlayStation gamers who have never had it or maybe even never even tried the game yet because they're not in the Xbox ecosystem and have no desire to do that, but maybe this game piqued their interest, well, here you go. You can get it. You get the 120 frames per second, 4K. You get the haptic feedback in that awesome DualSense controller, this, that, and the other. So again, there's some caveats to both sides there, but at least Destin's aware right now, by the way, that it's done. Halo is next. Well, congratulations. I've been saying that well before this well-informed person who was having most of their career done at IGN and probably had a lot more insider scoops than pray tell myself. But again, common sense is the key that I use to arrive to this point. Something that maybe he knew of but didn't want to admit and led his followers astray for years and years and years and tried to create this delusional narrative. But here he is finally admitting that all the things are coming true. The whole slate, even though he had an interview with Phil Spencer stating nothing's off the table and still tried to spin stuff for y'all. But again, hold your kings high, I guess, right? Let's keep going. We got the Crap Gamer. How's he doing? He sometimes gets a little dormant, sometimes doesn't say much, sometimes does. Here he is. The only reason this exists is to sell the franchise to PlayStation owners. Xbox owners already had the remaster years ago. Microsoft sold Xbox's soul. Guarantee I will never buy another Xbox console, assuming there even is one. Now, we heard this before. He's flip-flop back and forth. He's a capital flip-flopper. That's what he does. And also a shill and a grifter. But obviously, he is at the point where he just has no F's to give at the moment. But if anything was to change or turn, he would turn his code over and get back right on the same podium he's been at, spilling the nonsense, right? But he does have some points here as far as even if there is a next Xbox, right? I really think they're gearing in towards, here's the Xbox sticker, here's a hybrid handheld PC, here's an Xbox sticker, it's mostly a PC, maybe with some console caveats at this point in time. They're done. They're done. These guys are done. If this doesn't say Xbox as hardware is considered is done, I don't know what does. It just does not fathomably make any sense for them to have some sort of a console coming out, even for next gen, even in 2 to 3 years. Inflation is a thing. The tariffs are a thing. This thing, like I said in the last video, right? I feel like we're going to get a delay in the next generation of consoles due to inflation and tariffs and stuff. So that being said, if they were to come out with something in 3 to 4 years for their next generation, even if it is a hybrid type of situation, how many people are going to fork over $1,000, $1,200, $1,500 for this sort of hybrid piece of hardware where, again, those Xbox first-party games are just everywhere. You can play Game Pass on your iPads and Game Pads and TVs and everything else that can support Game Pass, right? And then if you don't like Game Pass, you don't like renting, well, you can buy and purchase those games on competing platforms like the PlayStation and probably the Nintendo Switch 2 as well. And again, of course, PC. I don't see the next generation console being a thing. So I think Crap is kind of onto something here. But again, he's clearly salty, very over it. But again, don't expect a full dedicated console, right? We'll have to get to that into a future video here in regards to some more receipts on that. But let's move along here because we do have a couple more here I want to go over. Now, how's everybody's favorite Flatearther doing? Post up here. Well, as you can see, he's posting here. Can you really call the next showcase the Xbox showcase when in actuality it's going to be a third-party showcase? That's just it. That's all it's going to be. Anybody hyping up the next Xbox showcase, I find it really weird. I never saw anybody or seen anybody, including myself, ever hype up a third-party showcase, whether that be EA, whether that be Ubisoft. I like to use them a lot because they're some of the main third-party major publishers out there with Assassin's Creed and all sorts of stuff, right? You got your Maddens and your FIFAs and all that. It's just... So he's right there, but right below that, you have Tim Dog stating, third party is here. Now, a quick shout out, by the way, with Tim Dog. He's kind of having a nervous breakdown as of the time of this recording for the day. He's been tweeting minute after minute after minute after minute. If he's not making his own post, he's replying to other people in other posts. And I get it, Tim. You're very much an Xbox soldier, wanted them to do good. You always want to hold them on that right light. I'll give you credit where credit's due. You've always been steady in regards to supporting Xbox and wanted to support that, wanted the hype to be there. I'll give you that. But you are definitely having a little bit of a breakdown. But I don't blame you. Like I said, I don't blame you. If I was in your position, and again, shoe other foot, and I invested all this time, money, and et cetera, into the PlayStation ecosystem like I have, and they went ahead and did what Xbox is doing, and vice versa, this whole scenario, I would also be salty. I've mentioned this to a lot of people before. I would also be salty, right? I would. I mean, this is not easy to take as a big-time gaming fan for a particular platform or ecosystem when you invested your time and money. This is above, and this is different than corporate bootlicking. This is just something you invested your hobby into. And again, we've gone over hobby after hobby after hobby, whether it be bowling, fishing, yada, yada, yada. You invest in a certain brand or something like that, and then they just pull their product. You like that product, it's gone, or it's elsewhere. Someone takes over, manufactures, blah, blah, blah. It's going to suck. It's going to suck. I get it. But going back up to post-op real quick, or post-up, pardon me. You get up there, can you really call the next... So he's really hot on the heels. One post, he'll sit there and be like, trying to hold Xbox accountable and the situation. And then what do we have next here, guys? This is just right after. Now, we got the delusional talk once again from his truly, right? The Xbox takeover of the PlayStation community is full steam ahead. The PlayStation community is now pre-ordering, buying, and playing more Xbox games and PlayStation first-party games. Again, this is what a third-party publisher does. The same thing can be said for EA and Ubisoft games with Madden and FIFA and the 2K series for basketball and on and on and on. Like, this is what third-party does. Of course, we're not getting 10 to 15 freaking different first-party PlayStation AAA games a year. That's not how they work. That's not how it's manufactured. That's why we get the quality, such as games of The Last of Us and God of War and Horizon Zero Dawn and blah, 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 all that stuff, right? That's how that works. So this is not some sort of epiphany that you're having or some sort of W or goalpost moving that works in your favor. This is what third party does. How many times do we have to say that? You know better. You're just being a shill and grifter. That's what you do. Over 11K followers, and this is the nonsense that you spout, and you have the people that follow and then get upset later on at people trying to speak the truth, such as myself. So thank you very much for that. And then continues, right? Sony continues to cancel more games internally and has yet to find their live service game or even provide a roadmap. So now we're working on live service. So there's the other goalpost shift, right? Live service games, because that's what we as gamer want, is more live service games. No, we don't. We don't care if those are done or moving along or not. We don't care about that. There's plenty of those out there right now from everybody else. And then, of course, a roadmap. We got to circle around to the roadmap deal because we don't have enough on the roadmap. And I agree, I would like to see more on a roadmap, but that's the last thing they need to be talking about. Again, what are we talking about a roadmap for? Now that you're a third-party publisher, full slate third-party publisher everywhere, not just on PC, everywhere, Nintendo and PlayStation, why are we bringing up a roadmap? Why do we have the war is just beginning? There is no publisher war. This is not a thing. This is stupid. This is stupid. I still have yet to see anybody poking up from the bushes somewhere going, man, EA is going to squash Microsoft first-party studios. Ubisoft's going to squash EA this year. You just wait. Look at their roadmap. Look at what they got. Look at 2K. Look at what they got down the pipeline. They're always hit. Do you see how stupid that is? Do you see how boring and trivial that is? That's when I bow out. If people are literally trying to do publisher war, that's... How boring is that? No matter what they do, that's not going to work. It's not going to spin in their favor. All this does is add the utmost copium and salt. We're overflowing. This is what it is. This is how they're coping. Moving goalposts. And we have plenty of other examples to go through as well, guys. This is going to have to be almost like a trilogy. There's just so much to go over too, but I don't want to make these videos too long. I want to respect your time. I know some of you do like them long, but some of you do like them a little shorter like this as well. So I try to get in the middle there for y'all. I appreciate that. The feedback back and forth. But yeah, the salt has just begun. There's going to be more. There's going to be more goalposts shifting, more narrative switching, swapping, all that stuff there. So I do have a ton of examples going forward as well. So just be on the lookout. There's lots to go over here. So the copious amounts of salt here from Gears alone, I can only imagine what the Halo announcement's going to be when that eventually comes as well. But that being said, we will wrap up the video here, folks. I really appreciate that. If you haven't already, definitely leave a like, comment down below. Would love to hear from you. Let me know about the state of things. Have you seen this crazy ass copium? I have. I'm sure you have. Obviously, I'm sharing it with you. But if you've seen other stuff I haven't, let us know down in the comment section below. If you haven't already, definitely consider subscribing. All three of those things do help out the algorithm. We are trying to get to that 3,500 sub goal. Almost getting there. Thank you all so much. You guys are absolutely amazing. Love the community. If you want more of this, want more of the truth, want somebody being straight with you, that's who I am. That's what we're going to do. Appreciate that. We'll end this video right now. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. And just remember, don't be a salty batch. And we'll see y'all next time on the next Xvault Gaming video. And until then, take care.